5,
There it is.
4,
Hey.
3, 2, and 1.
Ooh,
And
count.
recording on Riverside. I am recording on Zoom at 9:05 minute mark. Ashley, will you clap 3 times for me? One, two, three, go. Thank you so much. C, same thing.
Take it easy, sweetheart.
Oh, I already got that covered, baby. I already got that covered. Thank you. That was good though.
I'm vengeance.
Damn it,
Oh.
wrong fucking sound. All right, it was actually that was not as good, but
Nice.
anyways, so I wanted to kick it off by
It's
this
very nice
episode.
writing.
Being
brought to-
drunk.
Yeah, he's and look, and
Brought
the
to you
memo
by-
pad is nice.
Is that custom?
I know.
Oh, okay.
I won't put his business out there, but I know
Oh.
Zach works for a pretty nice company, so you could tell just from the little notepads. But he wrote in right. I pretty much see. I've got your copy here, but Zach went to some fancy, and I'm talking about Zach Armour on Instagram as Comic Ventures. He was on our Suicide Squad
Okay.
episode.
Okay.
But he went to. He got to see Batman like fucking Tuesday or Wednesday. It was like super early. Like AMC fan mega appreciation sell your mom's soul night to get a
Nice,
ticket.
nice.
Oh, wow.
And they were handing
Excellent.
out these Batman the Long Halloween special edition. See, this one's your
Oh,
copy.
look
I'm
at
gonna
that.
Um,
Did you say you rip it up?
yeah. But essentially, it was just a variant cover of this Long Halloween #1 special edition they put out. Honestly, I think
Awesome.
a year ago. But he went and he grabbed all four. He grabbed 4 of them for us, and he wrote a nice little letter to go with the package. He wrote,
Cool.
"Hey, the Shortbox crew, I grabbed a few issues of the comic that was handed out at the IMAX premiere of the Batman. Enjoy. Love you guys and love the podcast. Congratulations on episode 350. I'm nowhere near that level yet, but I'll definitely get back on my own content. Your #1 fan, Zach, aka Ventures."
Oh man.
Oh man, love you too, man. Thanks for those comics.
Awesome.
Good
Would
deal.
you have to go back like in copies? Like, oh, I would like a copy.
Like a little fake mustache, like, hello, it is me.
Hello, my good man. I heard there was a comic giveaway. Zach, you can have all these
Yeah.
comics. It's fine.
Yeah.
Sits through 8 hours of he sits through 8 hours of makeup to look like the Penguin to get another comic. Yeah, I'm trying to find these comics.
Can that be one of the things making really attractive people ugly? It's
Yeah, that should be the new trend. That should be the new trend.
except for Zoe.
No, yeah, that'd be an impossible feat.
Yeah.
All right, get started, man. With those positive words of affirmation, and it sounds a little drink in hand. So, per the usual, toast to all of you guys. Let's have a great show. Go ahead, Ashley.
Toast.
Beer, whatever that is.
Mm.
All right, here we go. Where's my notes at? Where my notes at? Okay. Clear my throat. Yo, Short Box Nation. Actually, I kind of want to set the mood right. I
Oh.
apologize. What's the mood I want to set this? Hold on one second. Where is it at? Bear with me. Song. Okay. All right. That's good.
Are you trying to play the music?
Yeah. But I don't got my
I suggest Can't Fight City Halloween is the track you play.
No, I know exactly. Come on, man. YouTube is playing around with me.
Oh,
It's
commercial.
You know why? Because we're also streaming at the same time. Oh, okay. Well, fuck it.
Don't you guys got Spotify?
I do. Hold up.
It's all on Spotify.
Hold up, baby.
Oh,
we
man.
got it.
This is
Never mind.
We
I completely dropped the ball on this one. Riveting Patreon content right here. I can't.
This is
my-
beautiful.
the hot dogs are made.
I'm like, see, start singing Kurt Cobain, something in the way. Go.
Something in the way. Or fucking
Is that the song?
I think it is, right?
Oh,
Thank you, C. Okay,
Is that
there we
actually
go.
coming
All right,
through?
we got. It's coming through. It's coming through enough, man. It's coming through in true short box quality, aka bootleg shit.
Shit.
Just what we need, baby. All right, I'm gonna get us going. I got the mood set. Yo, Short Box Nation. Welcome back to the podcast. This is episode 352. And if you're tuning in for the first time, welcome to the show. Today we're going to take our sweet ass time talking about the recent the Batman movie. The film has been out for 12 days at the time of this episode's release, about 8 days at the time of this recording. So hopefully you've had a chance to watch it at least once, though there's a lot of us on this show that probably recommend at least a 2 or 3 time viewing at this point. But here's the part where I warned you that this episode will be chock full of spoilers. The Batman
Holy
is all
mackerel,
we're going to
yeah.
be talking about this episode. So if you haven't watched the movie, please do not proceed because
What are you doing here if you haven't watched it? You weirdos?
Exactly. I mean, I know we're entertaining listen and you don't want to miss
Look,
out every week.
There's nothing wrong with telling us how awesome we are, but for God's sakes,
You just
don't watch the movie.
Exactly. So this is now a spoiler territory that you're about to enter, right? But before we get ahead of ourselves, my name is Botter Milligan, and I'm one of the voices you'll be hearing from today. I got the full Short Box crew joining today's panel. With me in the studio and sitting to my left is the special Edmund Danzart.
He's special.
Yeah, what up, baby? What up, Ed? Hey, sweetheart, you looking good.
Ugh.
That was inappropriate. Who's HR this week? Who's HR?
It's C's turn.
All right,
Oh,
C's
it's
turn.
gonna be me. I'm vengeance, buddy.
Was that inappropriate?
I told you I'm vengeance, so you're done.
All right, and calling in from the Bat Cave is Mr. Vengeance himself, Cesar Cordero. What
That's
up,
right, old chum. Atomic batteries to power, turbines
see
to
it.
speed.
I see. Giving a little love to Adam West. I like it. Also calling in, but live from the VIP section, Iceberg Lounge, is the first lady of the Short Box, Ashley Lanny Hoy. What up, Ashley?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing
If
well.
she's the first lady, does that mean she's married to the short box? Like the
Oh.
idea of the short
Yeah,
box?
yeah. You're
I
right.
can do better.
You really can.
Oh.
You absolutely can.
I'm just kidding.
All right. We get it.
I hope you signed a prenup. Oh my
Wow. Wow. Wait a minute. So
What?
is Ashley to the Short Box what Batman is to Gotham? Wow.
God. Interesting.
Oh my God.
But no, Ashley, I see you got Ashley.
Wait, that makes us her rogues gallery.
Oh, right.
You know what? It's starting to get a little too spot on for myself. Damn. Actually, all right. Well, what Batman rogue gallery rogues would we be? Ashley, who would Cesar be in your rogue gallery?
Oh
If you're
God.
Batman, who is Cesar?
I mean,
You're on
I
the
think
spot.
I'd have to say he's the smartest one of the bunch.
Wow.
So go with
Oh,
okay.
Riddler.
Okay.
Oh, he's the Riddler.
Don't know how I feel about that.
Ed's
compliment, but-
Catwoman. Ed is definitely Catwoman.
Thank you.
And
Okay,
I say
my
that
turn.
in the best way possible.
Do you like that leather?
Ed is very svelte. He's very svelte.
True, and very nimble too.
Those hoodies hide a lot. There's a lot of svelte there.
And cat hair. I mean,
You
he's
see all
always
those,
got cat hair.
those
So who's
hookers
bought her
down there.
then?
Yeah. Who
I don't know. That's a tricky one.
Damn. All right. Well,
Condiment King.
Yeah.
I wanted to compliment you, Ashley, that for the second time in a recording, you've come very festive. Today you are rocking. I see you got the cat print going on. You've also got a fuzzy mic windscreen. So
Yes.
yeah.
New cat tattoo.
Damn.
Yeah, I saw that. That's so cool.
Hold it up to the camera real quick.
And-
So
Hold on.
yeah, I can see it.
Oh my
Damn.
God. So
Cute.
cute.
That is a cute cat tattoo.
Oh, it's on your hand.
On
What
the
a
hand.
Gangster.
So when she backslaps the
I
shit
know.
out of you, you go meow. Actually, wait, what else was new? You said you had something else new?
No, I have a feral cat sleeping next to me. Like, no joke. It just ran into my house and it's like laying here.
Oh,
Okay.
No, well, that's gangster.
Our Catwoman.
So yeah. I'm not gonna pick it up and show you. I'm afraid it's gonna
Yeah,
freak out.
The cat hand tattoo's enough. I appreciate it. All right, well, listeners, like I said, we got the full crew here with us today. And this episode is being recorded on video. So that means our Patreon subscribers will get first dibs on the video version of this pod on our YouTube channel days before the audio version drops. And speaking of our loyal Patreon subscribers, I want to give them a special round of applause. And that's all they get per the
Oh my
usual.
God.
We can't treat them that good.
Wow.
But jokes aside, I do want to thank everyone that made it out to our private watch party for the Batman. Thanks for watching the movie with us. And it won't be the last movie party we host. thinking maybe Doctor Strange. We reserve.
Oh, you're thinking
theater.
Doctor Strange? Yeah, you're thinking Doctor Strange? Oh, okay.
I mean, what other movie?
Hey, I'm excited.
Me too. Me too. So if you aren't a Patreon subscriber yet, now is a great time to consider becoming one and cashing in on some awesome rewards and perks available to our patrons, like these private watch parties and events we got going on. Now, main event, like I said, the Batman is all we're going to be talking about today. We won't do any of our other regular segments. We'll save those for next week. In regards to the movie, it's been out in theaters for 8 days at the time of this recording and has already been an extremely impressive $315 million global grossing success, and it's boasting a certain fresh badge on Rotten Tomatoes. But does it get the approval? That's what's important this episode.
The real question.
Exactly. So we're going to find out. I'm going to kick it with, I'm going to kick it off with a resident Catwoman. Ed, what did you think of it?
Oh, man.
Oh, that's great.
For Ashley. All right, Ed, you and Ashley got
the Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
Crazy one that got resurrected by magic.
Resurrected by cat bites.
It's been almost a week since we got to watch it together. How has the movie set with you? Have you seen it another time?
No, I've seen it the one time. Overall, like I said, we were talking to C earlier about it. I think I really liked it. I think for me, it was a bit long in the tooth. There's some things I can nitpick about, which we'll probably talk about, but I definitely recommend it. I think this is probably the best take on a modern Batman as far as a live action movie goes.
Well said. Well, and interesting. I mean, it's 3 hours. So it's be long, right? It's the second longest superhero movie behind Avengers Endgame, which I think is considering that movie was like the end cap to 10 years. Right.
Yeah.
So coming out the gate, 3 hours, boom, here you go. I'm gonna go to you, C, because you've already definitely seen it twice so far.
Wow.
So I'm curious, what are some of your thoughts overall as far as the movie goes?
Overall, I thought it was good. Solid movie. I'm with Ed. I think there might be some pacing issues, but I don't think that reflects negatively on the movie. I think it more or less is we'll talk about it later, the last sort of psychological gasps of an era regarding Batman's storytelling and how we define him as a hero. So,
Good said. Ashley, I'm gonna go to you. Give me a few words that you would use to describe the movie.
Oh, you just changed it up when you got to me?
You know how this.
I gotta keep it fresh. I gotta keep it fresh.
Is this your first show? Come on.
It was very dark and joyless, and when I left, I was thinking I'm never gonna want to rewatch this movie. But the next couple days, I keep thinking about it, and I am gonna go see it again next week.
Nice.
Damn. Well said. Movie you give a couple of days before you go watch it, right? Like it's
no.
How often do you have 3 hours
Yeah.
to go watch it again?
No.
Like me and C.
I saw it like 2 days later.
Oh man.
I think I've already shared a few words like online and stuff, but to me it was like a perfect amalgam of like Batman Arkham Knight, the video game, meets like an episode of series into like 1 3-hour live action movie, which to me is perfect because those are like two of my favorite Batman properties of all time. The video game is very faithful, and of course the show is goddamn. So that's what I got from this movie, and I also felt like it was a very bold movie. Like not a lot of gimmicks. It's like grounded, and they don't need gimmicks to do any of the talking. It's like, the story's gonna carry this, the development, and damn good cinematography is gonna carry. Good ass stuff. Ed, I'll go to you first. Did it exceed expectations you might have had based on what you knew or seen going in, as far as like the trailers and whatnot?
Yeah, I remember talking about it before, and it wasn't. I'm kind of like, let's take it easy on Batman for a while. So it wasn't. I thought it would be. It definitely was better than I thought it would be. But I was going in, thinking it was going to be a good movie, but it definitely exceeded my expectations as far as the tone goes. But it was like I wasn't, super excited because I'm kind of burnt out on Batman. new people, but I get it. Batman's going to make a lot of money for a lot of folks, so we're going to keep making Batman stuff. But like I said, it definitely exceeded my expectations. I do have, like I said, it's not perfect, but it's super solid for sure.
Good stuff. See, what about you, man? To go into movies, low expectations, and let it play out. But how did
That's not true. I just go in with no expectations.
You hate it.
Yeah.
But did it exceed any expectation that you had then?
I didn't know what to think because I think Botter, you and I, we both talked about how much we like Matt Reeves' work with the Planet of the Apes trilogy. So I trusted him as a director that at least it would look, it would be at least a serviceable movie. I didn't know if it would be really, really good. As far as exceeding my expectations, absolutely, it 100% exceeded my expectations. And it wasn't based on anything I thought or knew going in. There were a lot of new things I saw that I didn't expect to see. There were Easter eggs that I didn't expect to see. The music wasn't what I thought it was going to be. It's, if you're a Bat fan, there are certain things you come to expect. Operatic score, dark imagery, and, interesting bad guys. Not to say that this didn't have that, but it definitely added more, and it didn't really take away any. So I'm interested to see where it goes. I exceeded my expectations.
How many times have you played the official score or soundtrack for the movie?
Serious question? Probably about 5 times. Just because I'll drive and I'll put it in, and it's interesting, man. It's a jazzy score. Like, there's some parts that sound like a horror movie, and there are some parts that sound like, 40s noir sort of background, sort of like weird, dark sort of jazz,
Yeah, there's that like reoccurring theme where it's like the bass end of a piano, dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, that kind of recurring
super
score.
simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was also like strings also were pretty prominent. I felt like not the more horror. Anytime Riddler would show up or the horror kind of
yeah, it
element.
almost
Right. You never. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
This almost reminded me of like the Imperial Mart version. of
Yeah,
the-
Michael Giacchino said that was one of his big influences. He wanted it to be, which is interesting because I watched a video today where they were talking about how, Michael Giacchino was like, "Yo, I love Darth Vader's music. I want to use it somehow." So he kind of put that in there. And serendipitously, in the video I watched, they mentioned that the same cinematographer for Rogue One was the cinematographer for this film. And if you guys remember the scene where Darth Vader whoops the shit out of everybody at the end, it's very reminiscent of that whole red and black motif that you see throughout the whole film. Ergo,
and that same where he's walking through the hallway, getting riddled with bullets, and he's just kind of
Right.
going through the hallway, beating everyone's ass.
yeah, you don't see. There's no light. So So those of you who don't know, a cinematographer's job is to basically be in charge of all the cameramen and all the lighting guys. So their job essentially is the look and style of the film. Anything you like about the movie regarding the look, the cinematographer made a lot of those decisions and runs it up the chain to the director and says, "Hey, do you like this? Is this what you're thinking?" And usually, if it's yeah, you got a good cinematographer. If it's no, it's like, "Oh crap, this is gonna." We're having a communication breakdown essentially. So Greg Fraser is the name of the guy, and I think he did a fantastic job.
Well said. Yeah, there's some beautiful shots, especially in like the bat chase or the Batmobile chase scene. Ed, you brought up the elevator scene, like a lot of just like good looking shots and like great like score to pairing too. I just feel like it was such a stylistic movie, man. Just like a very clean, like cool movie. I was telling C like it. Good.
No, I was just going to ask what Ashley thought of the color palette of the movie, despite that it bummed you out.
I mean, it just gave you like a mood. It just you can
Yeah.
tell that they paid attention to it. But yeah, you could feel it like in the club scenes, and it's like I don't know if it was just the movie theater experience, but you could like feel it all around you when you were watching it.
Yeah, it was dark, but it wasn't like a Zack Snyder dark. It was very
Mhm.
Moody. I
moody,
think. Yeah.
visceral. I hate gritty so many times. I hate to say gritty
I
anymore.
don't think
but
it's gritty. I think
like
it's grim. It's very
Yeah,
grim.
it's, but there's like such a foundation in as real as you can be in a superhero movie.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So that okay. Let's talk about that. I don't know if I would consider this a superhero movie. I don't think Batman initially was
But
a
you know what I mean?
superhero.
Like it's
Yeah, no,
pretty much,
you
yeah.
know, people come to us for the vernacular, so
Yeah.
we're here to set them straight. I'm just saying, I think this is one of the reasons why this movie works is because it takes Batman back to his pulpy roots,
Mhm.
which essentially is crime, murder, um, detective stories,
Yeah,
everything in the
going to
pulps
crime
that
scenes.
that influenced him. Anyway, sorry, you were saying,
Oh,
Potter.
no, no. I mean, good setup because I was gonna say like we had spoken about. I think I told you yesterday. You know, it felt like watching a gangster movie. They just happened to have Batman in it, right? Like
Right.
the crime and the how gritty, well, whatever, and how gritty the city is. Was like the center of it. Like they did such a good job, setting the stage first. Making you feel like you were in a hard fucking city, right? Like that opening monologue. First thing you hear is Batman's voice. You don't see him before, you hear him. But like, if this was probably the closest to a Frank Miller comic book than that I think I've seen outside in City, right? Like this
Yeah.
felt such a Frank Miller Batman comic book. Opening monologue describing the city, showing us like the city, like it was always raining, dark. Like it definitely sets you in a. And actually, I'm glad you brought up that word mood because you're right. It's got a lot of that, and that's what I mean. No gimmicks. It's like just they let the tone and then the mood and the visuals like do everything for them. They don't rely on any like played out tropes or things you've already seen in Batman. Like they just have their own unique
Well,
style to it.
there was the Chekhov's Venom shot. I was like, where did that come from? All right.
My dude.
My
And
ass kicked.
but it makes sense,
Okay.
right? But it makes sense though,
It
right? Because it's like this is a different Batman than
it
you've seen
would
before.
it would make sense if it, and like I said, I
But
don't.
this is year two Batman. Like, yeah, like you got to see him get his ass kicked, and to me, it made sense
That's
that he would have like a vial of venom
well,
on the ready
well,
because he's
that's
still
Well,
learning.
hold on.
and
First off, it's not been confirmed that it's Venom. Okay.
Sure,
Second
but
off, Potter, you're in the military. You were in the military. You know better. They do have those packs of adrenaline
like
that they issue
cortisone.
soldiers in the field just in case you need that extra little, or if you're sick or if you're infected with something. Like it's usually not used the way Batman used it, but it would make sense that he has access to it being rich as he is. So they kind of played it every every well, I guess we'll get to it. I was gonna say in the utility belt that was practical,
hmm.
more or less aided him in his quest as a detective and not in a he's got to get out of this jam, which I really appreciated.
What about the squirrel
Because
suit though?
the
that
squirrel
shit was just
suit.
badass. That shit was just fucking.
What good is a Batman without a squirrel suit?
Like slower. But the thing, it's like, and it's one of the like, and this is nitpicking, and I criticized Black Widow for this, so I can't not criticize Batman. Was that armor rated? He just got annihilated on, just like whoop, doot, 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 and like getting shot
Sure.
point blank with machine guns and not
Sure.
impact.
So let me ask
And-
you this then, because I was going to nitpick that, but then I'm like, wait a second, because if we do nitpick, then we get what Nolan did, which is just as bad, which is explain everything away to ad nauseum. Like it's like
I'm not expecting.
I don't need an explanation. You could just say he's rich. He's rich.
Well,
he
I'm not
has
expecting
the
an
ability to block.
explanation. To use the term, I'm expecting a little more selling of those injuries of falling off a skyscraper, off a car, and just like. Doot, 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 doot,
I don't know.
Oh,
When you
here's
got
the
hit by that
here's the
car-
difference. Hold on. Here's the difference. Armor, Batman, Black Widow, thin skin
That's
tight
true.
spandex. So
No,
the
no,
same
I'm
armor
not-
that I'm not saying it's right, but logistically they set it up in the movie that he could not dodge a bullet, but they don't really have any effect
Yeah.
on him. It would stand to reason that if he falls from that height and hits himself, it's a hard fall, but who knows, man? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's
I'm there
A
with
and
you.
B, but it's like I said, I don't. It's fine if the armor. I'm not like it's not realistic. That's out the window, but it's just to show, and especially because it's early in his career. Probably the only funny scene in the movie is him eating that shit, falling off the building.
I thought Thumb Drive was pretty damn funny.
The thumb drive was.
Thumb Drive.
I'm not gonna lie. I found Jim Gordon provided me plenty, and the Penguin. Actually, I take that back. The Penguin provided me the most comedy because his quips were the best lines
so
I've ever
Before I
heard.
say this, is Jeffrey Wright and Jordan Peele related? Because I was thinking it was
Dude,
Jordan
oh
Peele.
my god! I said Jim Gordon feels like a
Is this
Peele
a Key and
sketch.
Peele sketch?
Wait, man, you mean to tell me Colin?
So
killed
I
it.
was gonna ask if Ashley, do you like this sort of film? Because I guess the point I'm trying to make is that I don't think Batman classifies technically as a superhero character, except for the fact that he dresses himself as a superhero, because essentially he's just a hard-boiled detective,
Hmm.
Zorro. You know, do you like because I know you and I geek out about the last podcast on the left and stuff. Have you do you find movies like this just reinforcing that sort of this world is shitty, or do you relish in it the same way you would like a true crime podcast? Because that seems to be in the zeitgeist right now.
So I would say at first it was just a lot. Like I am into like I will rewatch Ghost Rider. You know what I mean? Because it's
Yeah,
fun. Like
sure.
Fast and the Furious. Like it's fun. That's why I go to the movies just for like mindless entertainment. But there are like my favorite movies aren't those movies. They're, like legit good movies. And it just took me a while for this to kind of catch on. Um it took me a while for this to kind of sink in, and there's a lot of these characters that I've just been thinking about since we've watched it, like Batman, Commissioner Gordon, Alfred, Riddler. um so yeah, I do like these sort of like, it's mostly it's the characters. Like if you have
Mhm.
a movie with really interesting characters, like I'm in. And I think that
Right.
turned into this the more I'm like marinating with it.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, I thought more or less this is kind of like it could be viewed as a slog if you're not really into this genre, which is sort of like the pulp, hard-boiled sort of detective story that but it's light. I mean, compared to some of the pulps, this is a light sort of hard-boiled story,
Hmm.
not really all that, intense. But it
Yeah,
i-
it's
it
not like
is it
Silence
is
of the Lambs or
definitely.
something.
Well, right. I would, or the source material, the crime stories it's based off of, like any of the magazines put out by Street and Smith Publications, like The Shadow or The Spider, um, which Batman has his roots in. So, yeah, I was just wondering because I thought, you said something, like it was very heavy, essentially, like the movie's sort of a heavy film to watch,
Hmm.
not in like, oh man, they're tackling some issues here, but it's just whew, it's raining every time they're
Yeah,
outside, like
utterly.
it's it's crazy.
Yeah, Batman just looks so. I kept waiting for him to smile just one time.
We'll get that in the second one, I'll bet.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's gonna be tan, smiling.
He's gonna be all
He's
drunk,
outside there.
pretending
They
to be
remembered I'm
like,
rich. Yeah, life's awesome.
Playboy.
So I wanted to take a detour from Batman specifically and talk about some of the other standout characters from the movie. So I'm gonna list some of the other characters, and feel free to share some words or maybe scenes that come to mind when you hear this character's name. I'm gonna start off with Zoe Kravitz, Catwoman.
Mm. Oh, sorry.
Deceptively
Like
young looking.
Yeah.
deceptively
Like everyone
young.
forgets, like Zoe Kravitz is like in her 30s. She looks so good, and I thought she played the character so well.
Mhm.
Like she had, when she was, with Annika, she had that sort. I think they kept it ambiguous. I couldn't tell if she was being
Same.
motherly or if
They
she
were in a
was in a
relationship.
relationship
Yeah.
with Annika. Like I didn't I she kept saying baby, but then she kept saying stuff like she's just a kid, and I'm like,
Yeah.
That's not how I refer to my lover. Like, um,
Mhm. Ooh.
so I like that she had different shades to her character, and when she was with Bruce, it was like, you really don't give a crap about me at all. Wow, like, what are you doing, sending me in as bait? And there were so many different dimensions to Selena in this movie.
Sure.
I like. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, how many times have we heard? If there's a superhero movie, you really shouldn't have more than one villain, or else it's just not going to work. You put too many villains in there,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not going to
I don't
work.
appreciate that
Uh,
impression of me.
I'm just. That's not Ed. That's
I thought
not
he was
Ed.
doing me. I thought he was doing me.
Oh man. Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, we've all
I
heard it.
count how many bad guys are in this movie. Catwoman. She counts as a bad guy. She's on the wrong side of the law.
Like a quasi
Riddler.
bad guy. Yeah. Yep.
Carmine Falcone. Sal Maroni, who's
Okay.
dead, but he's still part of the movie.
Okay.
Penguin. Those
For sure.
gangsters, those little that gang of bad guys that Batman whoops the fuck up.
Dude, no, wait, not just a gang of bad guys, but a gang of Riddlers. Like they managed to make that cool. Like the
Well, that
henchmen
too.
dressed-
Yeah.
That thing or the
Well,
ICP guys.
hell,
Both.
the twins. Yeah,
Both,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Tweedledee and Tweedledum are in it.
That's
That's
funny.
who they were. Okay.
Let's see who else. I mean, how the Joker technically.
True.
Goodness, there's so many bad guys in this movie, and it all worked out just fine. You just got to know what you're doing.
You have to know how to tell that story and juggle all these
Yeah.
characters.
And
Right.
really have them all play a role, right? It's like no one exceeded their role to try to steal the spotlight. It's like, yo, they were all pieces of the
Right.
puzzle.
Right.
As far as
They are
Catwoman,
in service of the story.
as far as Catwoman, I wanted to share that. Speaking about Frank Miller, I felt like she was definitely very. She paid
Year
a lot
one,
of
for
homage
sure.
to. Say it again.
Year one, 100%.
For
Mhm.
sure.
Oh,
That's what
yeah.
I was gonna say. Like,
She had the
Hey,
same outfit in
That's what I
when
thought
she's
when I
killing
saw
her
her.
dad.
When I first saw those promo pics of her with
Yeah.
almost shaved head, it's like, oh man, that's from year one.
yeah. Well, the
Perfect.
beanie
Yeah, little-
itself,
yeah.
like the half-ass beanie.
Closely cropped hair, and
Mhm.
I was wondering. I was like, did she? Was she always into cat burglary? Where did she get all this stuff? Like, and I'm like, maybe she was infiltrating that.
Or maybe she was robbing
You
those
know, that-
mobsters when they get all
that- well,
drunk and
that-
fucked up.
Yeah.
Well,
Just
that's what I'm
rip
saying.
them
She
off.
was infiltrating it to basically figure out who killed her mom, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Steal a couple wallets while she's in there.
Yeah. She ain't a
Yeah.
drop head.
Yeah, she
you know, she
kick
out
someone
here.
in the face. some
the
drunk
drop
motherfucker.
heads. Good lord,
Drop
there's
heads.
another bad guy.
So, what I liked about Zoe Kravitz's portrayal of Catwoman was she nailed silent rage really well, and Catwoman's motive in this, outside of like stealing from these mobsters and infiltrating Carmine Falcone's organization, but her motive by the end of the movie, she has a conversation with Batman that she doesn't want like Anna to be forgotten. Just like her mom was forgotten, like
Yeah.
killed and forgotten because she was, a club girl having to do what she needed to do, right? Like she was kind of becoming a champion for like the unspoken, right?
Yeah.
Like
Well,
these
the
women that are in these-
disenfranchised. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, the disenfranchised. So it kind of made me. So by the end, like it's like, damn, she's got a, but she's gonna do what she does. So yeah, I thought Zoe Kravitz like killed it as Catwoman. Ashley, what did you think about Catwoman?
I like Catwoman. I mean, she was, just like, because when you first see her, you're like, oh man, like she's so pretty. But then, she goes and does a lot of like dirty work, and like you forget about like, how beautiful she is. I feel like she wasn't very nice to her cats. That's my only deal. She just
I love
left all
that.
her cats. She's just like,
No, she was
see you later,
stuffing them in
guys.
the duffel- We had this talk. Ashley.
Oh yeah, you said they were all in the duffel bag. There's
There
like
was
8 of
stuff
them in
in
each duffel bag.
Cycle.
Yeah, you didn't hear all,
She left a little thing open so they can breathe. It's just
That's awesome.
far away from Gotham,
look,
guys.
It really
This
is.
An hour maybe.
yeah, this was actually the mistreatment quote unquote, of these cats.
I'm vengeance.
That's actually right there watching Catwoman. Also,
They were taken care of.
Catwoman, anytime that Catwoman and Batman were on screen together, their chemistry is so good. Like
They had chemistry. Yeah.
for sure. I thought they nailed like how comic booky is it that Batman meets, is stopping Catwoman stealing literally from a vault behind a painting. Like how played out, like not played out, but how many times have you seen that in the comics and the cartoons? And to see it in live action
So-
done that well, It was
Yeah,
awesome.
so that's something Bonner you had mentioned when we were talking on the phone, like, oh, I don't know if I really like James Expedition Gordon, and I'm like, what if it's in what if it's intentional? Like,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
if Matt Reeves is so good that he decided to take Batman all the way back to his roots, which is that 1940s noir where
Hmm.
it had the trans, sort of like, say, pal, what do you think about that? See, like,
Yeah.
you trying to tell me that he's in on the take and all that sort of stuff? Like,
Yeah.
how do you bring that world to the modern age without compromising
That's a good point.
those tropes that make the same reason we like Batman the Animated Series. Everything looks like it's in the 40s, but not really, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
This looks like it's in the 40s, but not really, right? Like,
Hmm.
whether it's you see a character with a trench coat or you see somebody that's like, say, pal, I think you're on the wrong side. Dude, my favorite line of dialogue is Gordon saying, you're saying Kenzie moonlights for the penguin? Who talks like
Moonlight for the Penguin. See,
moonlights? You're saying he
moonlight.
moonlights
Yeah.
for the penguin? And then Batman looks at him and says, moonlights as a cop.
The
I'm like,
cop.
so good.
Yeah.
That's
Thank you
something
for
that's, a hard, go ahead.
No, please.
I was just saying that's something that a hard-boiled detective would kind of say, that little pithy sort of one-liners. I
Just
don't know. I
missing
loved it.
smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
Right, Venetian
Just
blind
saying.
lighting,
Yeah.
which they did have that. Never mind. They had it
sure
all.
did.
All right. Well, speaking of Jim Gordon, let's talk about Jeffrey Wray as Jim Gordon. I'll start off by saying I think I was a little harsh on his Jim Gordon,
You just don't like Jordan Peele.
but I think whatever. But I think because I ended up watching it a second time, and I don't, it just clicked, right? Like if you're looking at the context, this is a young Jim Gordon. He's not
Yeah.
even. I don't. Yeah, he's not even captain.
He's captain.
Well,
He's
well,
not
yeah,
commissioner.
Captain
yeah, he's not
Jim.
commissioner, right? He's kind of,
Yeah.
but this is all new for him too. Like he's finding out that, oh shit, my partner is corrupt. Everyone in this department, the mayor is corrupt. So
Yeah.
for him, like I understand why he kind of seemed a little like dumb at times, right? Like
Well,
this
he's
was
also supposed to be Dr. Watson to
Mm.
Batman Sherlock Holmes,
sure,
right?
sure, yeah,
That's
And I
that's
thought-
kind of the idea.
yeah. He played he played his partner like well. Like he was. I had a newer appreciation of Jeffrey Wright as Jim Gordon. And it kind of sucks that, I was hoping that didn't get a lot of spotlight in this or a lot of standout, I think, moments or action scenes that you're accustomed to seeing. I was hoping that maybe they were saving that for the spin-off because I know they were planning on doing like a GCPD spin-off series,
Yeah.
but I guess that kind of got scrapped because of creative differences. So they're going a completely different route. But yeah, Jeffrey Wright by the end won me over. What about you, Ed?
I liked his performance. I didn't have an issue with it. Just he's in a rough position, kind of being
Yeah.
in between corrupt cops and then basically working with the vigilante. And it's some of the best stuff I think is just how people react to Batman when he just shows up in the crime scene.
Right.
What the fuck is this guy doing? Hey man, what is this guy doing here? And this is, they, especially in like police do not like outside help,
Yeah, they
from
nailed it.
FBI,
Yeah.
masked vigilantes. So, and then the bat signals in this, broke down building, somewhere. So
Yeah.
I thought he played it well. I wouldn't have minded, like you said, maybe having some more. He does, but maybe some more hero moments, like in Year One, where he's fighting the corrupt cops and just beating them up and stuff. And they kind of when they spin off on his story.
Yeah.
But I thought he played that part really well. I really liked his performance.
You could have pulled that punch, man.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Did.
That
That was pretty badass.
was another funny line.
Yeah.
There's a couple.
All right, Ashley, I'm gonna go to you to talk about our boy. Let's go and get into some of the baddies. Let's start off with Colin Farrell as Penguin. What are some words or scenes that come to mind when you think of him as Penguin?
Oh, I mean the penguin waddle was like
Yeah.
the funniest part of the movie.
Yep.
It's so weird to me because I was told that it was Colin Farrell, and I was staring at him,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it took
never
so long to see Colin Farrell. Like
Right.
it took half the movie for me to even recognize him. But I think his show will be fun. I mean, he was kind of the lighthearted, fun part of it. but yeah, he did a great job, and I don't even care. Like they could have gotten an ugly guy to do it and skip the
Okay.
makeup, but like
We
he
had
did so good.
we had this debate. Well, it was during the movie. It's like there's so many unattractive actors that need roles, and they're picking good-looking people and making them.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
but the thing is that
There's a
they
lot of
happen
Steve
to also
Buscemi's
be
out
good
there that
actors.
would like work. Come on.
I put Colin Buscemi any day.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, you did better than me because I could not. I feel like at no point in that movie could I make out Colin
I
Farrell's
would
face.
never guess in a
Yeah,
million years.
it was tough,
Mhm.
but he definitely had some of my favorite lines in it,
Yeah.
man. Like when Jim Gordon and Batman are interrogating him. Never do I feel like at any moment in that interrogation was he afraid or didn't have like something smart to say, right? Like when they were like, are you when they brought up La Rata,
Mhm.
yeah, La Rata, and he's like El
El
Rata,
no
no
El Rata
Espanol,
Alada is what he said, and he was like
yeah,
El. Now you don't speak
La,
Espanol, La Rata,
yeah.
which I was like, he's right. He's 100% right. I was wondering. I
Yeah.
was like, is this the riddle? Bad Spanish grammar? I was like, that can't be the riddle. I was like, oh
You know what?
shit, it's the riddle.
I had a similar thought. I was like, damn, this whole murder mystery hinges on
Yeah.
Spanish class 101,
The
sixth grade
101 in high
Spanish.
school.
There's, he's gonna have his own YouTube series. Learn Spanish with the Penguin.
Dude, I mean, Penguin just had such an air of confidence. We've been, joking about his lines.
Sweetheart.
But I mean, he even uses, Batman's line, I am vengeance against him. I think he drops it twice when
Hey,
when
he calls him Vengeance.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, Vengeance. Hey, this guy.
when Catwoman first is introduced to us and she comes in to lay down the drugs and get the money from him, he tells her, "Don't worry, Mr. Vengeance here won't bite," And then I think he says another Mr. Vengeance line later on, but just something about like how cocky he was, man, like classic gangster shit, man. And he wasn't even the top dog. That was
No.
like what, the second or third guy in charge, and he had like these balls on him. So yeah, so it set up the next guy I wanted to talk about, and maybe see you can chime in here with me. Well, actually, hold on one second before I say that. So I think it makes sense. So I think it's pretty cool that we get to see more Colin Farrell in that. Actually, you already mentioned it, but that HBO spin-off series that's coming out, and I'm happy to hear that Matt Reeves is going to be on it as executive producer. I think Dylan Clark, Colin Farrell himself will be involved. So it'll be cool to see like how he kind of comes up to power after this. Which leads me to the next character I want to talk about. Maybe see you can chime in here with me. Our boy, to call back to our long Halloween episode.
No one's
Our
going to
boy
get this.
John Doodoo Brown
Nope.
Turturro
Oh my god.
Bro.
as Carmine Falcone.
Know
Scariest
what you're talking
motherfucker in all
about.
the land, man.
He really, that's the best way to describe this dude, man. Scary, because he's freaking lying to your face with a smile.
Bro.
On him.
Cool as
Lies
ice.
to your
Man.
face. Dude, ice in his
Yeah.
fucking veins, dude. Oh my god, I couldn't believe some of the stuff. He just and he's so good at his performance. So good.
Yeah.
I didn't see I look, John Turturro is a very, very, very fascinating actor who takes a lot of weird roles, and it's hard for him to get rid of previous roles when you see him in other ones, right? Like,
Still the Jesus to me.
I was about to say the Jesus from the Big Lebowski is the biggest thing. I'm like, oh, nobody messes with the Jesus for real. Or fucking the guy from Mr. Deeds who likes feet. Like there's so many weird roles he's taking.
Any Coen Brothers movie he's in, it's a strange character.
Strange. But
I literally just got done. I'm sorry. I want to say I literally just got done watching him. Rounders on TV, that Matt Damon,
wow.
Edward Norton movie playing,
my
and he's
God.
in it, and I was like, oh shit, Carmine Falcone. This is like before he got big, he was playing cards to make ends meet.
So I was
Rounders
wondering
universe.
how he would do as this scary mob boss, and I was wondering how he would do it, and he did it to his strengths. If he tried to come in like he was some sort of like the Penguin, right? Penguin has big dick energy because he's compensating, right, for his insecurities. Carmine Falcone, if you're that in charge and you really do feel like you own everything, then you have a I don't sweat anything attitude. So nothing would rattle you. So he has a sort of like very slow, soft-spoken way of talking because I'm in no rush. You're on my schedule, everyone else. So, like, and he's got this. It's just like vulnerable, right? Like it's like this old man couldn't hurt nobody. Like, how is
He
he?
doesn't have to.
Right.
He's got people
Oh
to
my
do that.
gosh.
He also
Oh, he
like,
gets his
under-
hands dirty though.
Oh,
Oh
sure.
hell yeah.
He's
Like,
killed
the
like 3
dirtiest.
people.
And close family members. Like
Wow.
yeah. He gets his hands the dirtiest in my opinion. And he's got like this air of just obnoxious to him, man. Well, it was that interaction he has with Bruce Wayne
Mm.
at the funeral, talking about his father. He's like, he's telling him, describing to him that, I'm sorry, he's describing to him how his father saved him from that bullet wound, and asked Bruce, what does he make of it? And Bruce is like, well, my father was just living living up to the Hippocratic oath.
Hippocratic oath.
Yeah.
He's like, what do you call? He goes, what do you call that? And he says, I
Yeah.
call it the Hippocratic
You
Oath.
gotta go. Hippocratic oath. Ha ha ha. And that's
a
it.
good one.
Like,
This guy.
he gets underneath your skin, man, and it's just like it just feels dirty, like just anytime anyone's around him. But like you said, man, like that dude is just like evil, man. Something about like how calm, cool, collected he is,
Fucking
despite
snake,
all
dude.
the stuff he's
Yeah.
done.
And it's a good counterpoint with, the Riddler's like just ranting madness, with those videos. So it's a nice like dichotomy
Yeah.
of, villains in this story.
Yeah. Well, which brings me to my next character, and Ashley, maybe you could chime in here. Our boy Paul Dano. What
It's my
some,
favorite.
Oh,
Yeah.
I knew he was gonna be good because I've seen other movies like There Will Be Blood
Oh yeah.
where when he becomes like an unhinged character where like that facade kind of goes and you just see crazy, like Paul Dano can do that. And so the whole movie I was just waiting for him to just hit that wall where he just shows like full crazy. And when they were in the jail and you saw it, that was probably my favorite scene in the movie where Batman isn't doing exactly what he's planned ahead and he just loses it. It was he's such a good actor.
The time I saw him was in Little Miss Sunshine.
Oh
Has
yeah.
anybody seen that movie? He's the older brother that took the
Mhm.
vow of silence, but he wants to be an aircraft pilot really bad in the military. Oh my
Yeah.
god, that movie's so good. He's good. He's fucking tastic. That guy. He's ridiculously good.
And he also has great taste in pies. When they catch him at that cafe, I just ordered a slice of pumpkin pie.
That creepy ass smile, dude. Oh my god, that little creepy ass
Yeah.
Pillsbury Doughboy smile.
Yeah. And see, I know you'll get this and the fucking boot camp BC glasses too.
Oh, he's got those BCGs, dude.
Yeah,
Hard.
BCG glasses.
You know
Yeah.
why they're there?
Why?
Who knows why they're there?
The glasses? No, I don't know.
Yeah. The original descriptions of the Zodiac killer was
Oh,
basically
yeah.
that
Wears the
mask,
hood
but
with
he
the glasses over
he
it.
wore the glasses on
Yeah.
top.
Oh.
And he does all that. He
Little
did all
hood.
those weird symbols
Yeah.
too.
The
Come on,
ciphers.
Ashley. Yeah, you're supposed to be a resident.
Yeah, don't you
serial-
have the Time Life series of serial killers?
I didn't know that about Zodiac
yeah.
Killer. That's cool.
Ashley,
Yeah,
don't you
they-
have the
he was-
Zodiac Killer Pog?
She's like, no, but I have this Riddler collector's card. No, I was gonna say, actually, they based a lot of the Riddler's look and his design, his modus operandi for this movie off of the Zodiac Killer for sure.
Mhm.
Big
Ashley, can you
time.
do me a favor real quick? Do you mind pushing that mic away from you just a little bit? There you go. Yeah.
Bung.
I think your gain. There you go, and we can see your face now. All right, good stuff. As far as the Riddler is probably my least favorite character of all time, or least favorite
Of all
rogue
time.
of all. No, he's pretty.
Jesus.
low.
Ashley,
Pretty
he's
low.
probably my least favorite character of my entire life.
You know why? Because I fucking hate riddles. I hate riddles.
Riddle
I
me
don't.
this.
Butter's
I
like,
don't-
my brain hurts.
I just came here to see man in bat suit punch villain, and now I've got to fucking I think
The SATs I gotta.
Oh, you're the reason why Batman movies are bad. I just want to see him punch. I don't need a detective
I
story.
just
No,
want
no, no.
nipples on bat suits, some gratuitous butt
But
shots.
man,
Hell yeah.
when we left the movie, Life was like, I wasn't really that afraid of Riddler. Meanwhile, I'm
Oh my
having
God.
nightmares. And meanwhile, I'm having nightmares of failing, to
Well,
solve
she's
riddles.
not a corrupt politician, so she's okay.
Well, I am.
Oh,
so
She's
I'm
not
very
afraid.
So I'm very afraid of someone like the Riddler asking me to
Wow.
solve, a ABC
Butter,
riddle.
one day you're gonna find you're gonna be
No.
alone in your freaking apartment, and I'm gonna be behind you with some masking tape, and I'm just gonna be like,
Oh.
"If you are justice, why do you lie?"
But goddamn, he's, and you know what? It's more so like he also represented like a concept too. I think that was the scariest part because he even says, my power isn't physical; it's all up here in my mind. But it's also the idea of a Riddler, right? To be
Right.
a
He represented
disenfranchised.
Twitch streamers.
I was gonna say 4chan, a 4chan
Yeah.
Fringe community, but that's even better. But like the idea that this individual who also feels disenfranchised, feels hurt by society, and casts it out, decides to look at a character or a symbol like Batman and be empowered by it to take the law into his own hands. In a very twisted sense, I think he even tells Batman, you
You're the
showed.
reason I did this.
No,
Yeah.
he said you showed me what all I need is fear and focused violence. And it's like Batman's like, whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Reading me all wrong, bro.
Yeah. He's like, what did he say? You're out of your goddamned mind.
Because we hear that all the time, that how Batman brought out all these lunatics.
Yeah.
But having him actually explain why.
Yeah.
Give the reason
Well said.
why
Yes.
he did it, rather
Yeah.
than, oh, these crazy weirdos came after you started putting on a bat suit. Without explanation. This, he gives a reason, and a legitimate reason.
Okay, and I'll go ahead and admit they definitely fooled me. I thought I was on the hook, on the edge of my seat, thinking that Riddler had solved
That was a good swerve. Yeah.
Batman's identity as Bruce Wayne. That shit was fucking freaky when he walks in and he starts
Bruce
repeating
Wayne.
Bruce
And
Wayne.
after 10 times, don't you hate that guy too? He's the worst. He's all pasty and weird, sad, rich orphan. I was a poor orphan. That sucked.
All right,
Fuck
we're
that guy.
back to you and me, buddy. Yeah.
All right, enough of that. We'll get him next time.
Yeah, they had me. They definitely they got me good on that. But Ashley, I'm right there with you. I think that interrogation scene might be one of the best because I guess that is something you would definitely mark off in the Batman movie. Interrogation scene, check.
Sure.
But they
or any
nailed
like
it. on that.
procedural, like
Yeah,
any,
that too,
like
that too.
police procedural.
Good point. Good
And
point.
I do like going back to the detective Alfred, which he's really mean to Alfred. I don't understand
Man,
what that's about.
You know what? Let's jump into Alfred, and Ed, you can kick us off. Our boy Andy Serkis playing Alfred.
Ultron kicks him down some stairs. Black Panther kills him, and he's got to work for Batman. So,
For the record, that's what happens when you
Killmonger.
open up official United States. I belong to you.
he's like, oh, I don't have to wear a suit with ping pong balls all over me. I can actually
Right?
regular clothes. That was one of the things that kind of was odd to me. It was their dynamic. I like Andy Serkis. He's amazing. Who doesn't like that guy? But him kind of helping with the cases and helping, with the I'd really like that, those contacts that are the cameras that he could record.
Oh, that was
That's
so cool.
Really cool idea.
Cool tech.
But yeah, that relationship was kind of baffling. It, to me, I think it would be, even after he got blown up, and he's like in a cast, like like he got in a skiing accident in a cartoon. He's like all casted up, and he wakes up and first he's like, Jesus, man.
I'm vengeance.
It's like, man, I
Just got out of a coma, man. Can you say I'm glad you're okay first before you start grilling me about my dad? About your dad?
I told C. Andy Serkis played Alfred. I'll beat your ass like I'm your dad. Pennyworth
like-
in this movie.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not your daddy, but I'll beat your ass like I was. Pennyworth.
See,
I
what
was
did you
Royal SAS, motherfucker.
Yeah. See, what did you think about Andy Serkis' portrayal as Alfred in this movie?
It's great. In my opinion, I think Jeremy Irons has been the best Alfred to date. But Andy Serkis did a serviceable job, no pun intended. And I think we'll see more of him. And I think it's weird, right? You have a guy like Batman. So who does Batman more or less idolize as a father figure, right? Well, recently they haven't been showing Alfred as sort of like the doddering old sort of Master Wayne likes
Yeah.
to have his cold soup,
Jarvis.
that sort of thing. He's more or less like, ex special forces military, um, got injured and, had to get out, or, did a lot of stuff as a combat medic, that sort of thing, right? So I guess the relationship between him and Bruce would be that of, you know, uh, NCO to lower enlisted, right? That's how Alfred would see him, but also see him as a dad. But he knows Bruce's survival is more important to him, so he doesn't need a dad. He needs a sergeant. So Alfred has this sort of like sergeant relationship with him. So Bruce takes and follows in store because that whether he wants to admit it or not, that's dad. So all right, that's the relationship we got. Fine, I'm gonna come at you that same way. So I don't know. It leaves me wondering, like, if the relationship they have is sort of like a creation of a monster of Alfred's own creation. As a sort of like this little boy ain't gonna listen to me being like, "Hey, Slugger, have a seat on my knee and let's talk about why you shouldn't do drugs." No, he's gonna be like, "Get on your fucking face and give me another push-up, God damn it!"
Yeah, but
Like,
he didn't seem like. I mean, but just like you say that dynamic between a sergeant, like you can't mouth off to the sergeant like he does. Like,
um,
You don't. You wearing those cufflinks? You're not a Wayne."
that's exactly why Alfred puts him in his damn place, even after he's been in a coma. He's
He
just
was
like,
a
"Hey,
good man.
fucko." Yeah,
I
it's
think
like
they
he
should
was a
have
good
like.
man.
I think they. I wonder what you guys think of them if they pushed that Thomas Wayne wasn't a good guy.
Oh, fuck that. I
No,
would not have liked it. Would not have liked it.
just curious. That's kind of a theory. I was just kind of, what if they went 100%? You know what I'm saying? They doubled down on it.
I mean, I enjoyed the Hush Easter egg,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm right there with you. Yeah, I felt like that would have taken like the win, like completely taken the win out of like the sales for Batman's
He
like
would have
whole
ran off
motive.
with Catwoman. Like,
Yeah,
fuck this.
he probably would have definitely
Dad
left.
was an asshole. Let's go.
Yeah.
Bloodhaven it is.
All right, which I guess brings us to the last guy I want to talk about, and then let's talk about some scenes and whatnot, which is the Batman himself, Robert Pattinson, as Batman. Ashley, I'll go to you first. Like, um, did I guess what question I want to ask here? How do you feel about Robert Pattinson's portrayal as Batman, and what do you think he brought uniquely to the character? Like, did he add anything unique to the lineup of all time Batman actors, in your opinion?
I mean, I really think he did a good job. He was just so like somber through the whole movie, and it took a well. The great thing about it that I've never really had in a Batman movie, where there were certain scenes where I was like, "Dang, this is just a dude in a bat costume." Like I know we always say we're like, yeah, well, that's what Batman is, but there were scenes where it felt like that to me, where like when he was like in the police station, I was like, man, of course all these guys have an issue with him. He's literally just standing there like with this mask on. Um and that never really like it always kind of flew by me like in the other movies because I never really feel like I got that deep into them. But my favorite scene with him was when he was talking to Alfred, and he did show that little bit of emotion, like in the way that he shows it, which is still his face is just completely looks the same. But he's telling him about how he felt scared and he thought he was past fear. To me, that was like the first time you saw like the Mandalorian take off his helmet.
Oh,
Hmm.
hell yeah.
Like it's like kind of this rare occurrence, and I like that they kept it like that. Um, so I just not being like the Batman person that you guys are, I would say this, I'm happy with this as my new Batman.
Yeah, I think yeah, somber is a good word. I'll even add like confident too. Well, somber when he's Bruce Wayne, but I feel like very confident when he's wearing the bat. Like you could see the confidence, and I think he spoke about that in a few. And I mean, I feel like a lot of actors say the same thing that when they wear that bat suit, there's a sense of like confidence that just takes over, and they feel like they're a completely different person. But I feel like his body language in the suit was like nothing, confident. Like every time he walked in, they made a big deal and showcasing like how strong those steps of his would take, right? And it always lined up the score really well. Um, I think the difference here that I really enjoyed was that, not only are we seeing a younger version of Bruce Wayne, this was year two for him as Batman, but it was also, and I think, see, you had brought this up and it made me think about it, but how we see Bruce Wayne the playboy in this. Like we
No.
really saw a different version of Bruce Wayne. We saw the recluse,
He flat
somber.
out says, "I have no time for that." He
Yeah,
Yeah,
says,
like
"Right
a
now,
regular
Batman is
person
all
would.
I'm concerned of."
Yeah, he can't. Nobody can burn the candle at both ends, like,
hmm
or at least at this point in his Batman career. So he hasn't developed that. Hey, Lucius, how you doing, buddy? That Bruce Wayne persona to act out in public. It's like, remember that, like that David Carradine speech in Kill Bill, where it's like Superman is always Superman. He dresses like Clark Kent to be one of it. This is like he dresses as Bruce Wayne to be Bruce Wayne. He's really Batman.
Right.
It's like,
Right.
and you see, and like I said, good looking guy, but they didn't make too good looking. You made him like he's been out all night fighting gangsters and stuff.
yeah.
So it looks like someone who has that wear and tear of doing this, Batman experiment.
Yeah, and haunted too, like very haunted, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I was going to
he-
say that's how you could describe this film. Actually, man, that's funny. You took the words right off of my notes, man. That this movie feels haunted.
Hmm.
The movie feels haunted. It's a haunted house tale.
yeah, and I love like his transformation by the end, of like, I want to say guilt, but I think ownership. Like he understands that like he's got to be a bigger symbol than just, he's got to be something
Vengeance.
bigger than
And
that.
just fear.
Yeah, exactly. He's got to
Just-
like inspire hope
Yeah.
while still striking fear in the people that he needs to strike fear
Because
in.
even when he helped that guy, with the juggalos, the guy's
He's like,
still
don't hurt
yeah.
me.
And there's no reassuring words like a Batman would
Hmm.
do. There's no like, it's okay, you're fine now. He just kind of stared a hole through him, and then they went to the next scene.
Yeah.
So he hasn't
So-
got that part of his. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I'm listening. That was good.
Oh. Well, I mean, and I mean that's maybe more so credit. I mean, yeah, Rob Pattinson, acted his ass off throughout the whole movie, but I'd probably say, it's probably the writing is where I got to give that credit to. Seeing that story arc kind of play in, where it's, at the end of the movie, it's about like true healing, right? It's like you're introduced to all these characters with different like scars in their lives, emotional and mental, and by the end of it, Batman's the one that's like, you know what, man, I've got to really heal from this before I can move on and be the person that this city needs. So I thought the messaging by the end was great, and it all kind of ties into Bruce Wayne's character arc in this. Like,
Just a random thought. Do you think like forensic accounting is going to get a spike in enrollment?
I'll let you know what the LinkedIn
It's just
stats
like-
say. That's funny. All right, so we pretty much kind of ran through all the characters.
Well,
wanted
I
to
was
run-
good. Hold on.
Oh, my
I got
bad,
some
my
shit
bad,
to
my
say,
bad,
man.
My bad.
I was
Go
gonna say we're gonna talk about Batman. Let me fucking speak my piece, dude.
Uh-oh.
ahead. Please.
Because I set it up earlier at the beginning of the episode, and it might address some issues with the last act of the movie that I have.
Oh.
So, this is a 3-hour long movie, okay? And I think it's a part of me that wonders if the studio to this day is still saying, hey, can you put a part in a Batman movie or any Batman film where the bad guy kind of acts like a terrorist and Batman has to take him down? America loves that. Can you do that, Matt Reeves? Is there any way you could do that? Because I think for the most part, if you're a Batman fan, you've more or less kind of suffered through a trend that's been happening since 9/11. And the trend is all if not most of Batman's villains act like terrorists. I mean, they start taking over the city and they start saying, okay, I'm going to poison the water supply and I'm going to poison the entire this supply and I'm going to blackouts and I'm going to isolate the entire city. When in reality, most of Batman's rogues gallery are serial killers / crimes of passion. The only real terrorist Batman has in his rogues gallery is Ra's al Ghul.
Yep.
He's the only real terrorist he has. Everybody else is kind of in it for personal gain or they're freaking evil people. So I feel like and we're seeing it less and less, right? Like Nolan's trilogy, it was all about terrorists, all of it. Like right down to when the hospitals explode, Batman is surveying, the damage. Like, what do I do? How do I stop? How do I have a war on terror? How do I stop? How do I fight an idea? Right? To this movie, where now, thankfully, it's been relegated to a tiny little part of the third act, right? Almost an afterthought, where it's like, oh yeah, by the way, I got 5 trucks set up around the city to blow up the seawall.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
that
like
kind of took me out of it.
right. So
It's
for
a
me,
different type of crime. It's a different type of crime, a motivation.
correct. So
Yeah, I
I
totally
saw
agree.
that as sort of like the last sort of holdover, right? The last little
That
bastion
makes
of,
sense.
okay, maybe we're getting past Batman fighting terrorists and we're getting right back to the heart of those detective stories, baby. Let's get back to it. Come on.
There's a
I don't need to, he doesn't have to, his heroism shouldn't be defined
yeah.
by his skills as a counter-terrorist CIA operative. His skills should be defined as a detective. And
Yeah.
that's what his heroism should be defined as, right? So that's, I think, kind of the point. And I also, since we are talking about the Bat, all the pulp references I was a huge fan of. Like when he says, I am the shadows, he's like, they think I'm in the shadows, but he's like, I'm not in the shadows, I am the shadows. And I'm like, oh God, because the shadow is obviously who he's modeled after. The black and the red motifs, 100% the shadow. Carmine Falcone calls him Zorro, which I'm like, hell fucking yes, because he is Zorro. Like he was part of the aristocracy, and everybody's like, who's this fucking upstart that's causing all these problems? It's probably one of the residents of Gotham that don't have money and they're poor and they're disenfranchised, like the Riddler. No one would suspect a rich guy, right? That's Don Diego de la Vega, and he has a sweet ride too, just like Batman, Tornado the horse. So all that stuff is cool. Like you hear words like knightly and chivalrous, and I mean, you guys obviously have heard the word courtesy before, right? I say the word courtesy. What does that word mean to you guys?
Oh, courtesy, abiding by social norms without being told, or something like that. Kindness, nice.
That's what you think the word courtesy means? Ed, what do you think the word courtesy
figure
means?
this out. I feel like
Courtesy tavern is to bar as.
Here we go. Yes, SAT. Ashley, what do you got?
Courtesy to me is just showing a little bit of respect for somebody else. I don't know.
But I also know it comes from
So
like
the word-
an old knight.
Just like a polite.
Yes.
The word courtesy comes from the word court,
Of owls.
as in a kingly court of knights, right? The word polite it's from polire, which is polished. It means polished, right? Shiny like a suit of armor, right? Someone says, you're on your high horse. It's literally because knights were the only people allowed to ride horses. And they only were because they were knights, and you were only a knight because you were held to a certain code that you were the code of chivalry. You could not break it, right? So I guess my main point is the only reason Batman is doing what he does, it's not so he can work out his vengeance issues. That doesn't make him noble or knightly or courteous or polite, for that matter. It defeats the entire purpose of what Batman is, which is he's the Dark Knight detective. And Botter, you nailed it. At the end, he's like, I can't be vengeance. Vengeance isn't going to heal. Vengeance makes me a psychopath. I'm crazy. If the only reason I'm doing this is for vengeance, it doesn't make sense. But if I'm a knight, if I'm doing this for just nobility's sake, to help my fellow man, to be courteous, to be polite, to go out and make a better Gotham, then that's a better motivation, and people will see it. Oh man, fucking brilliant, dude. I loved it. But yeah, Ed, I didn't like, not that I didn't like the third act. It's still got a lot of cool action, but it so bears the stamp of anything past 2001.
And
it
like I
so
said,
bears that stamp.
And we're telling the story of this, Zodiac killer type character. It's just, that's not,
Right.
That's like a Joker crime or a Scarecrow where they want absolute chaos. So that part, and then didn't that lady get shot? And she's just like,
Bella
around.
Real?
Yeah. Did she
Yeah.
get shot?
Yeah.
And then she's just like, dude, like like doing laps in the
Yeah,
pool
she's gonna need like 500 antibiotics.
Yeah, Jet Devil or something like
in that dirty ass city sewer water. Oh,
You know,
did she have? I mean, that was just kind of like, didn't she get shot? It was like at the end, like everything was kind of getting crazy.
look,
but it's like, didn't she? She got shot, right? She got shot.
God,
right in the
she's
chest.
I hated seeing that because I was just like, she's like, I've got to go out there, and I'm like, that makes no sense. Why aren't you
Yeah.
listening to the cop? Like, let him
Nobody's
do his
listening to
job.
anybody.
Shut the fuck up.
when that scene happened, I looked at Blythe. I was like, how's Batman gonna fight water?
Yeah. And she must have the same on Batman. Jeez.
All right.
But yeah, that was at that last act. I could have, but I kind of get like what you said, and I kind of get what they're,
we're
trying to
working
do.
through it, Ed. As a
Working through it.
society, I feel like we're working through it.
There's a 4-hour cut. Who knows what else is in there?
Well, that actually
We know
sets
some
me-
of it. Yeah.
That sets me up for the last character, and then I want to hear about some of the standout scenes. But he only had a minor role in this, and I'm gonna fuck up the last name, so help me out here. But Barry Keoghan?
You're on your own there, man. Because I heard it today, and I'm like, that's how you say it? Oh,
Is
I
it
don't know how to say
Keoghan?
it.
I have no idea.
I'm gonna go Barry Keoghan. If I'm saying the last name wrong,
K?
my apologies.
Barry K.
Yeah, Barry K. Keoghan. Joker in this movie, or as C has written in my notes. I thought I locked this shit out. Dick Bitters.
I didn't write that.
That's a good tip.
But anyways, I want
Rude.
to talk. I want to hear your Barry
Barry.
Keoghan. Excuse me if I say the last name wrong. Playing the Joker. Actually, I'm gonna go to you. I haven't heard from you. What you think about that last little end? And I mean, granted, Matt Reeves said it's not really meant to be an Easter egg or anything. It was just he wanted to keep it in there. But what did you think about the Joker in this movie and his scene?
So that actor has very like I've only seen him in like the Eternals and like the Green Knight, but he just has like an unsettling face.
Oh my God, he was so shitty in The Green Knight.
He was so
The little kid that mugged him.
Yes, it's so
Oh,
scary.
that's that guy?
he's scary. He's like a little like imp. Like he just makes me nervous. So the fact that
For the record, I
What?
was gonna say I thought he killed it in Eternal. Like he was probably maybe one of the best actors in that movie.
Yeah.
Because he was the only real character that had some, they wrote him.
Yeah. But back to you, Ashley. My apologies.
But yeah, I don't know what I was expecting. I feel like I either wanted more or less. Like the amount that they gave me of him was just odd. But it was also unexpected because I try not to look into the movie before I saw it. So
Just
I
bros
don't even-
hanging out, laughing together, broing out in the jail. I don't know. I'm kind
Now-
of.
Now that riddle I did get because I value our friendship so much. I was thinking about that riddle the whole time. I was like, wow, he's right. The less you have, the more important they are. Whatever the hell that means. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for ham-fisting that terrible joke in
Ooh.
there. What were you gonna say about
Oh
Joker?
man, I could have gone without it. I'm as much as I'm kind of over Batman, and just kind of over the Joker too. I'm like, okay, enough of this guy. I would much rather have more of a tease for the Court of Owls or something different, something territory we haven't been before. Maybe even like even a Jonathan Crane in there.
I don't think we've seen the Joker yet either.
No,
Hot
that's
take.
true.
Hot
That's
take.
true.
I don't think we've seen the
Hot
Joker
take.
yet either.
But I
Hot
do like
take.
the arc. I like kind of I think they are setting the groundwork for that.
Yeah, the Court
Court
of
of
Arkham
Owls
stuff.
is- yeah,
Gotham's Hidden Families.
I like that
Yeah.
Arkham family and the Waynes. That's pretty cool. Those are pretty cool little Easter eggs too. So
Yeah.
but
So-
yeah,
So Ed, I had a similar feeling about the Joker. I was telling C I definitely don't want to. I don't want the next movie to be focused on Joker. I'm like down for more of these other rogues, but I did want to share something. And C, you can chime in if I share anything wrong about this. But the reason why that scene was in the movie, Matt Reeves originally planned to have a longer scene featuring the Joker, where Batman, I think after the Riddler's second killing of the police captain, he goes to Arkham to kind of get get inside the mind of the killer, right? And he stops by Arkham and stops by the Joker's cell. But even in the credits in the movie, he's listed as unknown Arkham inmate. But they have a slight conversation and back and forth, and Joker supposedly says something to the effect of like, our anniversary is coming up, meaning that he's already taken down the Joker. There's a history there, and Joker kind of compares Batman to what Riddler's doing. See that? Did I get that about right as far as like
Yeah,
that deleted scene?
yeah.
Okay. So the plan is that Matt Reeves took that scene out because he felt like they already had a scene that accomplished that goal in a later part, so he took it out and then just left that little end cap. But according to him, he's not even sure. He doubts that Keoghan's Joker will appear in any more Batman movies. I think it was kind of just meant to be further a plot point or paint a certain character aspect
Fan
out.
service, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he's kind of doubtful if that goes any further, to be honest with you. But I guess there is they are going to be dropping that scene here soon. He said he wanted to wait until a lot more people had seen the Batman before he drops it, but we'll probably get that leftover scene here soon. See, what did you think about it? Because when we chatted, you said that you had, because of your faith in Matt Reeves, like you're okay with like this inclusion of Joker, where it might go, right?
Yeah, well, okay. So I only say this because I felt the same way when he was doing the Planet of the Apes movies, right? So if you watch the very first Planet of the Apes movie, at the end they sort of tease that they're sending astronauts off into space, and I'm like, oh, it's Charlton Heston's mission. That's cool. Wait, are they already going to get to Planet of the Apes? Like, is the next movie going to be him? Why would they put that in there? Is that fan service? I don't know. And then like he never comes back to it. Like they never go back to it, and it wasn't really a big part of the movie. It was just kind of a nice little wink. Um, but I feel like if they did go back, he would have known what he was doing because those movies are so freaking great. I enjoy them a lot. They're well made. And I feel like if they do another, like I said before, hot take. I don't think we've seen the Joker yet, live action yet either. We saw Jack Nicholson. We've seen that. We've seen, no disrespect to his performance. Performance was outstanding, but was it the Joker? Don't think so. We saw hipster Joker with, Ichi the Killer's
That's great.
slight, yeah,
I like
like,
him.
like I like Heath Ledger, but is he Mark Hamill? Is it the animated series? That's my opinion. That's the Joker.
Yeah.
So, or the Killing Joke, right? And let's take a look at this guy's face. If you shave his head on the side and you give him that crazy curly ass hair that Joker has, that Brian Bolland drew, he's got the face for it. Like we could see that version of the Joker,
For sure.
and just that
A little more.
jacked up rictus grin he has,
Mm.
like I don't know, like I trust Matt Reeves. If he puts him in, cool. If he doesn't, cool. Like that's where I'm at.
I wanted to share this little quote that because I to your point, I think he's got a pretty unique take on the Joker, and I wanted to share what he said about like his version of it. He wrote, "quote It's not about some version where he falls into a vat distorted, or what Christopher Nolan did, where there's some mystery to how he gets these scars carved into his face." He says, "What if this disease and he was cursed that people stared at that was grotesque and terrifying, even as a child? People looked at him, and his response was to say, 'Oh, so a joke was played on me, and this is his nihilistic take on the world.'"
Nihilistic.
End quote. Nihilistic take. Thank you.
And also, let me just say this. Let me chime in. That is not unique. That is actually the original inspiration for the Joker. It was a movie called The Man Who Laughs, and Conrad Veidt was the main star, and that was pretty much spot on what the story was. So Bill Finger and Jerry Robinson both were like, what if there was this guy that was like that? So it's based, again, Batman right back down to his roots,
Well said. All right, I wanted to move on and just get. Was there any standout scenes that we haven't talked about that you guys want to highlight? Ashley, what was maybe the most standout scene to you?
I think so. We've already talked about all my favorite scenes, which is like in the prison with the Riddler and Batman with Alfred when he's waking up. I think another scene that was like really fun was that car chase with the penguin,
Oh, so
yeah.
good.
where you
One of
just
my
see all the
favorites.
fire and then the Batmobile, just like that. That movie needed that. I really enjoyed that whole scene.
They definitely needed like a spurt of like as cliche as it sounds, like I feel like high octane,
Yeah.
no pun intended, like
And the
action.
car cutting out was pretty funny. I thought that was pretty funny
Even though I, that was in the trailer, that whole bits and pieces of that car chase scene, and Penguin's car being upside down. I felt like in full context, it was even better. Like even in the trailer, it looked cool with the whole spinny camera angle, but I thought they executed it well, and it was cool to learn that like that car, at least in the opening when you first hear it and it's revving up and it's got the blue flame and shit. That was an electric version of the vehicle. It wasn't like a gas car. It was like electric version, and the guy who and I don't have his name, but the dude in
You
charge.
mean in real life?
Yeah.
Okay.
What was I? What were you saying?
Well, no, I was saying like I didn't hear you specify like if they were trying to say that the car was electric, and I'm like, that was pretty sure that was a flame coming out the back.
It's the new Tesla.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
fault. It was an electric vehicle that they used in the
Yeah,
beginning.
you
of
can't
that.
put a real airplane motor in a car.
Yeah.
Yeah. The guy in charge of actually building that out said like their goal was to make it feel like the car was like breathing, like it was like this monster fucking breathing, and they could only really accomplish that with like an electric vehicle. But that shit came out like a fucking demon out of hell. That scene was insane.
The actual track on the score is called Highway to the Anger Zone. The piece of music. So if you want to listen to that piece of music, which is awesome because like Ed was talking about the dark sort of piano sort of theme that's basically like three notes where it's like ding 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 ding. It comes in at that operatic classic Batman score, but it cuts out for the percussion. So you hear like dun 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 like, and all the the blockade and stuff that fall down sync up with the music. So when things are falling, like they fall within succession of
that's cool.
The percussion, which is freaking cool.
That's cool. Hey,
That's
what
good
about you,
editing.
man? Any standout scenes that we haven't talked about already?
I know this is a divisive one, but I really kind of like this version of the Batcave. I thought it was pretty cool. The
I did too.
train station where there's no giant penny, no dinosaur. It's like,
I'm always
it's
gonna
like-
miss them.
That's
A
good,
T-Rex?
we'll get there. No T-Rex.
Yeah, give me the T-Rex any day, to be honest.
It's just a cool and new idea, that I haven't seen, or unless I'm not sure if they've done it, but it's just like a cool twist on the traditional Batcave. I thought that was a really cool set piece.
Good stuff. What about you, C?
Oh God.
Any scenes we haven't talked about already?
I think yeah, honestly, that opening scene, I don't think we touched on how cool it was. And not like when he's beating up the juggalos. Just before it, when he's doing the monologues in the beginning, where you see the bat symbol goes. There's something to be said about all these guys that they're Billy Badass when they're doing the crime, right? Like, yo, give me the money. And like the guys walk out and they're like, yeah, and they're spray painting, and they're about to run away into an alley, and they realize there's no lighting in that alley, and they kind of stop and they're like, that is Batman. That I love that. Like they're like, I don't know if I want to go down there. Hey, let's go down this way, John. Nah, probably not gonna do that.
Yeah.
That's, and they do it right in the beginning of the movie, and it's just so good. Like, I managed to watch it. Spoilers, a couple days earlier than Barter was nice enough to reserve the theater. Thank God, because I ended up getting called out on assignment the day of, and I took my wife, and she's 8.5 months pregnant, ready to pop, and we're sitting here watching, and this is a 3-hour long movie, and she's just looking at the movie like, this is so good, and I'm like, damn, if Sarah, who's not as invested in this as her nerdy ass husband is, and can completely go into this like as a Johnny Q regular moviegoer, just be like, damn, this movie's awesome. I was like, this is good. This movie's gonna do well. They are gonna make some money.
And they have. I think the only other scene I want to highlight is, of course, I think the Batmobile scene was definitely stand out for sure. I've already talked about the scene where Batman first, runs into Catwoman as she's stealing, breaking into the vault behind the painting. Which to me is just like, come on, man. They nailed such a cliche comic book cartoon thing so well.
It's just missing the lasers, like spraying, and then the lasers,
That's all that
and
was
then doing
missing,
like
right?
some
Um,
cartwheels.
and a little sidebar. I'm reading Catwoman and Batwoman, the Tom King Clay Mann comic book, thanks to C's recommendation. And I get that vibe thinking about that scene, like such a classic kind of interaction between Batman and Catwoman. But the other scene I'll highlight, which is a Catwoman scene, is when she goes to confront Carmine Falcone in the club, and we kind of get to see while she's approaching or handling things her way, we also get at the same time Batman is very methodical. He's already got the building laid out. He knows where to go. He's cutting out the lights. He's going to do it in darkness, but Catwoman's got her own way, which is a much more direct. She's using she's got like the sex appeal that gets her into the door. Like she just knows how. It's just kind of cool to see like these two approaches. And it's very true to their characters. And it builds a lot of suspense too. Like, Carmine, she's just right. She's in front of her dad that fucking doesn't know that she exists, that's killed her mother, and now has killed whether it be her best friend or lover. Like, just so much emotion I thought was being played into that scene. And Zoe Kravitz, like, was able to capture like this silent rage this whole time, like playing it cool, but underneath all that coolness is like, God damn it, I can't wait to put a fucking bullet between your face. Yeah, I love that scene just for the emotional intensity that it gave off. I guess getting close to closing, I wanted to hear everyone's thoughts on a sequel. I went ahead and learned. I'm sorry, I don't know if you guys know, but like Robert Pattinson signed on for a 3-movie deal.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, about a 3-movie deal. Matt Reeves has, kind of already hinted at for the most part. They're in talks about a sequel. I don't think it's been officially announced, but that'll probably come. I wouldn't be surprised by the time this episode drops that they haven't already announced the official, release date and all that stuff. But so chances are there's going to be a sequel. Hell, there might be even a trilogy. But I was curious to hear what story. Actually, let me take that back before we answer that. Before I ask about the sequel question, last week we spent a lot of time talking. Oh, sorry, 2 weeks ago we spent a lot of time talking about Long Halloween. It was our comic spotlight to coincide with this movie. Matt Reeves had been on record saying that Long Halloween, Batman Year One, and Batman Ego were going to be, were big influences on this movie. Just to circle back and kind of close out that conversation, were there any elements from Long Halloween that you saw in the Batman that you would highlight? Like, was there anything very obvious that was a direct lift from Long Halloween?
The
I
beginning.
mean, yeah, the very beginning, it was Halloween Day.
Yeah.
Yep, I got that one. Serial killer happens to kill first. First killing is on Halloween. I think of course they borrow the serial killer plot line, but something that you had said last episode or on that Long Halloween episode, where you said you enjoyed it a lot because this was kind of the transition from his rogues gallery kind of just being like 2-dimensional kind of gangsters into like they're these fully fleshed out larger than life personas. But I thought they kind of captured that in this movie as well, right? Like they circumvented telling us Batman's origin story, but then that freed up the ability to essentially give us the origin story of Catwoman and Penguin, right? Like we get to see their rise and come up into like becoming their own characters and these,
And the Riddler.
larger than life personas. And thank you, and the Riddler, duh. So I thought that was kind of cool because when you do read Long Halloween, it's like, oh damn, his villains are like kind of have this certain mystique to them. They're not just crooks or whatnot. They've got some sort of elementals and powers or whatnot. So I thought
a lot of the stories that Batman is based off of are Depression era tales of crime, which the FBI did not start profiling serial killers. Not to say that they didn't exist, but the FBI didn't start profiling serial killers until we're talking 60s, like officially developing a profile department to try and hunt down these types of individuals that are damaged. So just like just like this last act of the movie is a reflection of its time and how us as a country, those pulps are also a reflection of their time, where most of the bad guys were like, "Hey, I'm Johnny Zuko, and I want to rob a bank. Hey, I'm Jimmy Simonelli, and I want to shoot this person because he cheated on my wife, and I'm gonna, get this score." See, you don't really have people going, "I like to dress in high heel pumps and murder people for the sake of getting a boner," like a serial killer, someone who has no rational explanation for why they do what they do except a psychological hang up, right? A sociopath, if you will. So I would say The Long Halloween represents a transition between that type of criminal to a newer type of criminal. Not a newer type, but a different kind of criminal that we've now been exposed to and are just now starting to deal with. As I think we're still learning a lot of how to deal with the criminal mind regarding psychopathy and any other sort of sociopath. So this is kind of a reflection of that, right? Like, you get the whole gamut in this movie. You get freaking somebody like Penguin who's kind of two-dimensional. And he's like, "Hey, I just want to run this thing. I'm insecure and I like talking like this and ba ba da beep, ba ba da boo, ba ba da bee." And then, like, you've got Carmine Falcone, who's this smooth-ass gangster mob boss who's kind of like, he's the dude. Oh, he'll be like, "Look, it's okay, it's fine, don't worry. Hey, why are you so scared?" While he's choking you to death. And then you have someone like the Riddler, right? You get the whole thing in this movie. So I would say that's more or less what I was talking about when I said what I said about The Long Halloween. I think we're starting to see a lot of that left. Just like all this media, it's all a product of its time. It's all a product of its time.
And I think the other thing they lifted from Long Halloween that I thought was that played actually a good role, because it gave us that interaction between Carmine and Bruce. They borrowed from Long Halloween the whole Carmine's relationship to Thomas Wayne. Coming to him because he needed to get stitched up, couldn't go to the hospital or the cops, and then owing him a favor, or having that relationship was also another cool thing to see lifted. But thoughts on a sequel? I mean, and Ed, I'll go to you first. But what story or character or villains or et cetera, do you want to see done next?
Man, it's tough because I kind of want to stay away from any like superpowered people or supernatural people at this point.
So does Matt Reeves.
Yeah, so I'd like to see more, I guess, grounded characters. Or maybe an introduction to Harvey Dent and the Penguin. He could probably do something, I don't know, interesting with like a Scarface or someone, just something different.
Nice. Talking about Albert Wesker,
Yeah, like
the ventriloquist.
yeah. Something just different and kind of, like I said, and I'm guessing Matt Reeves has that same mindset, but just kind of staying away from the over the top, like supernatural or super powered villains, even like a Bane or somebody. Just stay with the more, I guess, grounded characters. Scarecrow would be interesting, I think, even though we've seen him, but we haven't really seen I don't think a good live action version of him. But I think he would make sense. And even just kind of introducing the Court of Owls, introducing a new mythology to the live action Batman. I just and I like this direction. I just want to see something different, something. If we're gonna keep making Batman movies, and we will be, just give me something a little more contemporary, more, just something new, something new, a different take on it.
Well, they definitely set the groundwork for Court of Owls, and I think like even their press run, they've dropped that phrase a few times. Rob Pattinson and the whole cast themselves. What about you, Ashley? Anything you want to see in particular in the next movie that would make sense in this Bat universe?
I mean, it might not work for the next movie, but I would like for maybe the one after that. Arkham Asylum, I think, is always going to be my favorite Batman story. I would just love it if, like, the other, like, Marvel's doing, like, all the good guys team up and they're all together and you see how they interact, and that's really fun, like with Avengers. I think it'd be so fun to just have, like, an Arkham Asylum movie where it's just, like, the bad guys just outnumber the good guys by so much.
What's cool with that too is, like, I don't know if they talked about this, doing a series of the origin of Arkham Asylum.
I think that is the
Mhm.
other series. So they're doing the Penguin, and then the
Yeah.
the GCPD series they got scrapped.
And
They're gonna just do Arkham
and to
Asylum.
see how Bruce's mom, Martha, right?
Yeah.
Martha. Why'd you say that name?
Yeah.
Just to see like her connections, because I think she's in this university. She was in Arkham. She was a member of the family, and just that'd be a cool history and a cool direction to take, and something we haven't seen in a live action.
Great. All right. See, I'm gonna go to you for this one here, because you're a resident Batman expert. But as far as like comic book recommendations, because I know you probably had the same itch I have after seeing this movie. I've been rereading a ton of Batman comic books. Hell, you
Oh
gave me
yeah.
that suggestion for Catwoman Batman. That's been fantastic. But what would you? And we shared a few of these in our long Halloween episode. But for the new timers, let's share them again. What comics or stories should people seek out if they want to, scratch that Batman itch or kind of go down the rabbit hole of Batman stories?
Batman Year One for sure.
Oh yeah,
If you like this movie, I suggest Batman Year One because it's essentially what you just watched, just a little more compact and told from Jim Gordon's point of view. Um, I would also suggest for people who like this movie and are no stranger to Batman, go back and read the old Batman Black and Whites. Um,
yeah,
all
oh yeah.
those anthology books are really fun. Actually, Marie Severin does a story that's freaking fantastic, and it's done a la like Mad Magazine. It's one of the funniest things I've read, and it's kind of nice palate cleanser after watching something so dreary and rainy, soaked uh, the crime dripped tea that is Gotham City. Uh, yeah, I recommend all the new Batman Black and White stuff is good too. I just bought that hardcover, the omnibus of the recent series they just did. Um, yeah, that's my recommendation.
Cool. I'll go ahead and add Catwoman Win in Rome. It is a 2004-2005 series by the same creative team that gave us, Long Halloween, Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. But it's a direct sequel. Well, not really direct, but it takes place right after Long Halloween, and it chronicles Catwoman. She goes on a trip, with the Riddler at that. She brings him in tow because she knows that he can figure out this mystery. What is her connection to the Falcone family? How is she related to Carmine? Well, she knows how she's related, but she wants to dig deeper into her connections with the crime family. It's a
To the
six issue limit.
motherland.
Yeah, exactly. It's a 6 issue limited series. Noir style. So if you liked what you saw in the Batman and you want to kind of shift the focus to Catwoman and you've read Long Halloween, then this is a great, excellent follow up. Tim Sale's artwork is even better than before, which is kind of hard to believe, but he really knocks it out the park with his painted style. And there's just a certain mood, man, that Jeff Loeb evokes by having this noir story take place in Italy and really getting a chance to lean in on like the whole kind of Italian crime genre and whatnot. So Catwoman Win in Rome is what I'll add to C's recommendation. With that being said, like I said, we're not going to do a regular. Sorry. With that being said, I want to get to wrapping up and sharing some emails we got this week. Last week, I prompted our listeners to write in and tell us what their top 5 favorite Batmobiles of all time are. And I figured, what better episode to share those than this one right here. But before we do just that, I want to go ahead and ask the listeners, if you have something to chime in with, man, if you got a short little review or you want to share some words about the Batman and how that movie made you feel free to share those with us. We'll read them next episode. Write something short and sweet. Send it to our inbox at theshortboxjacks@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you and have you join the conversation. With that said, C, I'm going to pass it over to you to read some of these emails. Let's start with RC's email.
Okay, hold on just a second. I got it right here. Okay. RC, I love the title of your email. It says, "Yes, Father, I shall become a bat." 100% year one reference if nobody's tracking on that. He writes, "Hello, Team Shortbox. First off, I'm very excited to catch the Batman in theaters, and I'm even going so far as to see it in 4DX. Hopefully, my body can survive what will be a literal 3-hour roller coaster ride. From what I hear, it's a 3-hour getting soaked in the face with a super soaker. As for Batman, the last time I read The Long Halloween was when The Dark Knight Rises premiered in theaters, so I'm in need of revisiting the story. Michael Keaton in the animated series were always my Batman. But I also have a soft spot for Val Kilmer's Batman just because I watched Batman Forever on VHS so many times as a kid. Question. Everyone has their favorite Batman, right? So, who is your favorite version of Alfred? Oh, wow. Cool. All right. Anyway, here are my top 5 Batmobiles. Coming in at number 5, Val Kilmer's Batmobile. Ah, yes. The H.R. Giger design that looks like a dick with wheels. I don't mean that in a derogatory term, RC.
It's like
Look
the
up H.R.
ambiguously gay
Giger.
duo's car. If you ever
Right.
watch that.
Look up H.R. Giger, and you'll see that he did design some stuff on that thing, and he's very much into penises, or was. R.I.P.
Tubes.
4.
Yep.
The Dark Knight Returns Bat Tank. Ah, the Tumbler.
Oh.
3. The Batman Muscle Car. So this year's version of the Batmobile.
Oh yeah.
Number 2 is the animated series. How in the world can a car like that turn in real life, is what he writes. And number 1 is the 89 Batmobile, complete with shield, retractable machine guns, and fire bombs. Thanks, RC. Thank you, RC. That was awesome.
Sure.
So, guys, you heard the man. Favorite Alfreds?
I think I'm just gonna chime in on what you said, see, because Jeremy Irons, like how
Yeah.
you don't get much better than Jeremy Irons as Alfred.
Ed?
Are we talking just the live action?
Nope. Nope.
The
Any
animated
and all
series
Alfreds.
also.
Whoever does the animated series, I don't know.
Ephraim Zimbalist Jr.
Okay, that guy.
Yeah, between them two, I don't think you get much better.
Ember Syphilis Jr.
Yes.
Good stuff. All right, let's
Ashley?
go-
Are you?
Yeah,
are you-
Jeremy Irons.
Yeah?
He's great. Yeah.
Yeah, human
Yeah.
Jeremy Irons for sure. He's
For
just
sure.
awesome
Yeah.
whenever he does. Watch Dungeons and Dragons. He was in that, right?
Oh
Is that
my
Jeremy?
God! Yes, he was.
Oh, he is.
Oh, hey, why'd you do him dirty like that?
Did you ever see the interview when people asked about him? It's like, hey man, I just did that movie to pay off a house.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, he doesn't care. You could tell he's just he is just hamming it up in that movie.
All right,
Terrible
That's
movie,
great.
but he's great.
Good stuff. Thank you, RC. See, let's go to this next one that was sent in by Alexander Knox.
No, that's a fake name.
Uh-oh.
See, real quick. Can you
Uh-oh.
tell us? And I'm glad you caught that. Can you tell us who the hell Alexander Knox is?
Okay, hold on. Alexander Knox. This is fucking made up as shit.
It is.
Alexander Knox is
Derek Lee trying to catch us off guard.
Yeah, Alexander Knox is the journalist in the 1989 Batman film. Played God. Oh God, I can't. I'm losing it.
No,
He
you
was
got
in the
points
show-
just knowing who the hell it was. A fucking no name. Well, not no name, but a random ass journalist in the Batman movie from '89.
Yeah. Ah, damn it. Robert Wool. That's who plays him. He
Oh,
was in
that's right,
89
Robert Wool.
Batman. Yeah, he was in that show Arliss on HBO.
Arliss.
Derek Lee,
Yeah.
you get points just on that deep
I
cut.
forgot he was in that.
Yeah.
movie.
Okay, Mr. Knox. Hey, Knox, I got something for you. Yeah. Anyway, he writes, "The Batman cometh, but in what?" What a weird subject line. Okay, I'll bite. We open in a sparsely lit city.
Ooh, story
Just a
time.
few convenience stores are open at this time of night. This could be any street in any city, but this is Gotham, and the street has very few people out and about. Gotham has an unspoken rule that the night belongs to the criminal underworld. Glass breaks. Two goons run out from one of the few open stores, laughing. One turns around and says, "If you're late with the Falcone's money next month, you won't have a store for us to protect." And as they make their way to the car, something in the sky catches their eye. It's the bat symbol. They run for their car. As they begin to peel out to get away, they hear an engine sound like any other they've heard before. They look in the rearview and see headlights and fire bearing down on them. It's Batman in the Batmobile. But which one could it be? Here's a list of my top 5 Batmobiles.
I like that.
That's
Oh, let me
pretty
give that
good.
man- let me give that man a round of applause for that. That was a good one. That was good. All right. take
He
it
had
away.
setup and everything. Okay.
Okay.
So his number 5 is the Tumbler, the Chris Nolan. Number 4 is the 66 Batmobile, the Barris Batmobile model. The number 3 is the Bat Tank, which is from Dark Knight Returns, not to be confused with the Tumbler. Awesome. Glad that made the list. Number 2 is the 1989 Batmobile, and number 1 is Batman the Animated Series.
I can't be mad at that list. Now, granted, I do believe Ed said in that episode that if you have the Tumblr on your list, you're automatically disqualified. Sorry, Derek.
So he wrote, P.S. I know the email might be long, so if you want to read just the list, that's fine. But he put the P.S. at the bottom of the email, so I wouldn't get to it unless I read the whole email.
Yeah, we're on.
Very good, Knox. Very good, Alex.
All right, thank you, Derek. All right, and then we got one more email from our
T-Mix.
Come on, man. It wouldn't be an episode of the Short Box if we didn't hear from T-Mix, but yeah, take it away, Steve.
Okay, here we go. Órale, cabrones. Got to clear it up. Although I do use a lot of Mexican slang, yo soy salvadoreño, no mexicano. Well, vale, man, that's cool. So then that means you'll be sending us pupusas and yuca frita. If you could, please. I've been to El Salvador. It's a beautiful country. I spent time in San Salvador, actually. So, yeah, man, rock and roll. I just love Mexican Netflix shows and have Mexican friends, as do I. The Q&A episode was a banger. I really enjoyed listening to everyone's different responses to the 350th issue villains. Gonna piggyback off Botter and champion the Kanye Netflix doc Genius. Not really a Ye fan. Well, you're done. I'm not a you fan. But dang, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I keyed. But dang, this thing is good. Yeah, I got to jump on that, man. I'm late to the game on this. Lastly, some follow-up stuff. Number 1, Ed, Ashley, did y'all end up watching Cobra Kai / Karate Kid?
I'll answer for
I knew Ed wasn't gonna do it.
I knew you weren't.
Oh shit, Ashley, you did it?
No, I'm writing it down right now though.
Oh fuck. Okay, I was like, damn. Call him out like that.
Rude.
Right? How about that? Okay, number 2, he writes, are we ever going to get the Etrigan Z album?
Oh,
that's on C.
That's a deep cut.
Look, there's a lot of legal issues regarding trying to acquire all of Joe Camel's beats. It's gonna be a while. Yeah. The Batman was great, and I thoroughly enjoyed this rendition of Batman. Very interested in what the future looks like for Bats, and if he'll show up in Flashpoint somehow. Anyway, top 5 Batmobiles. Wow, okay, check this shit out. Number 5, he puts Battle for the Cowl number 1, the Batmobile that Damien steals.
I love that series.
Number 4 is the Tim Burton Batmobile, so the Batman '89 film. Number 3 is the BVS Snyder's Batmobile. Well, that thing is pretty slick. Ha! Number 2, he writes Batman Beyond, so the Batmobile that floats in the sky. That's pretty cool, man. I like that.
Futuristic joint.
Number 1 is Batman the Animated Series. So that's his list, and he says, "Hasta la próxima, compadres. Cheers, T-Mix."
Oh yeah.
So, thanks, man.
T-Mix.
Appreciate that.
All right, so just like I promised, we got those emails, we got the submissions, we asked for the top 5, and I incentivized everyone to do so they could win this completely unrelated Spider-Man comic. So I was going to give away this Gotham Retailer Incentive variant cover for Amazing Spider-Man number 88, which is also the first appearance of Goblin Queen, to one lucky listener. And I feel like we got some three very solid submissions, emails. So I'm going to take it to the Wheel of Names to pick the winner on this one. I'm going to go ahead and give this a spin. You could hear it in the headphones, I guess.
Ooh, nice.
And the winner is, man, our boy T-Mix. There we go. And a built-in applause track, too. I like it. All right, T-Mix, I'll go ahead and send this out to you. Thank you so much to everyone for sending in that list. Does anyone want to chime in with their favorite Batmobile? Because I've got my top 3 here, and I've heard a few of them so far.
Why don't you hit it then, man?
Yeah, go for it.
I have got the Arkham Asylum video game Batmobile.
Oh.
I
Oh
think only
shit!
because
Nice.
I think only because 80% of that game is the Batmobile level, so I ended up kind of
Oh,
falling in love with it.
You're talking about Arkham Knight? Yeah.
Yeah, Arkham Knight. But also it's just a very sleek design. It looks kind of like a weird, like kind of a weird figure eight type design, but slick as shit. Batman Beyond, that Batmobile is super hard. And then the Batman Returns Batmobile. Something about having like the wings in the back always kind of like, I just like the very ham-fisted bat motif also thrown in for extra measures. So those are kind of my top three, in addition to like, the animated series. And I think this new one definitely makes that list in my top five for sure. What about you, C?
Um, Batman the animated series, Batman the animated series, Batman the animated series.
Yeah.
Dylon, Dylon,
Anyway,
Dylon.
I was gonna say with Dylon driving the Batmobile every time. I like it. Ashley, do you got a favorite Batmobile? Which one are you pulling up to at the Iceberg Lounge? VIP.
The one from
Wait, say
From
that
the
again.
where?
the Lego Batman movie.
Oh yes.
Nobody brought that up.
Oh,
like
Lego Batman's so good.
It is. It's a great movie. Ed, what about you? You got
God,
a favorite Batmobile?
nobody thought about that Alfred.
No.
He was on the table.
Oh yeah, he was good.
Ray Fiennes was Alfred in
Yeah.
that movie.
He might definitely crack the top, 3 list for sure. Right behind maybe a Jeremy Irons in the animated series Pennyworth. Ed, you got a favorite Batmobile to close
Oh,
us
man,
out?
it's a toss up between the Burton '89 and the animated series. It's just because that's my childhood Batmobiles.
I
Right.
got you. I don't blame you at all. All right. Well, shit, man. I feel like we have talked about this movie ad nauseum. I don't know if there's anything left to say other than maybe go watch it for a second and third time if you haven't already, and then tell us what you thought about it.
Oh, and don't stay for those post credits. They're pretty uninspired.
Oh, real quick. Speaking about post credits, I don't know if any of you guys went to that actual site, but that what was it? La Rata. What was it again? See?
La Rata Alada.
Thank
Or
you.
El
That
Rata
is,
Alada.
yeah, that website actually does work, and you're greeted with a message that reads. Hold on, I wrote it down here somewhere. Okay, you get a message that reads. Damn, where is it? Give me one second. Okay, so when you go to that site, you get a message that reads, and it's like in a DOS format, right? So it's like the green, blinking text, but it reads, "You've come this far. Now let's see if you're willing to discover more. While you unmask everything that has yet to be revealed, I'm safe here with my new friend. We will see you soon. Click for reward." And if you click that reward, that link, you get a zip file that is titled knowwhatiknow.zip. And if you open that zip file, you get a bunch of JPEGs and images of like Thomas Wayne,
Iris.
like Thomas Wayne, and a lot of like just different pictures that was in Riddler's study in his
Oh,
office.
that's cool.
You also get a PDF of his journal, and it's like crazy scribbling and pages of like, ciphers and things like that.
Oh, that's
so
pretty cool.
yeah, it's fun little like marketing ploy and add-on and whatnot. So yes, you can actually go to that site. But with that being said, C, Ashley, Ed, thank you guys so much for a damn good conversation. Any closing remarks, last words you guys want to share before I wrap us up?
Hail Batman.
Yeah.
I think that's all that needs to be said. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys. Let me go ahead and address the listeners and let them know that there you have it, Shortbox Nation. Thank you for hanging out with us this week. You're the best audience a show like ours could ask for. But it's time to close out this show. It almost feels like we recorded another Batman episode of this 2-hour recording.
It's okay. It's a time jump tonight. We'll be all right.
Damn right.
Oh,
That's right. That's right.
We
Next
spring
week.
forward.
Yeah.
God,
Speaking of moving forward, next week we'll be talking about some of the latest comic book and pop culture headlines and news that have come out in the last month. It'll be another installment of our short box story series. That episode will drop next Wednesday, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on that. But if that's too long for you to wait, consider subscribing to our Patreon channel, and you'll get access to bonus content like video versions of this episode, invitations to private events like our new movie watch parties. Like I said, we'll probably do one for Doctor Strange when it comes out in May. And you'll also have the ability to vote on episode topics. We got a poll out right now for our Moon Knight Spotlight series, so our patrons are picking what we'll be talking about. But you also get access to our new spin-off podcast series dedicated to the best comic cartoons and animated series, Pilot's License. We just released the 10th episode of that series, and it's all about the X-Men animated series. It's over on our Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/theshortbox right now, or click the link in our bio to subscribe. In the meantime, give us a follow on social media if you aren't part of the bandwagon already. But most importantly, take care of yourselves. Have a great day. And please continue to make mine and yours Shortbox. We'll talk to you soon. Peace. All right. I'm going to hit stop.